What did you used to do when you were a teenager? Maybe you threw tantrums, cared about how you looked, talked about your crush, and complained when your parents told you what to do. And then one day, congratulations, you got your first period. Sounds pretty normal, right? But imagine experiencing all of that thousands of years ago. Because for a teenage girl in the ancient world, puberty could mean much more than just growing up. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your first period has started. There were no pads, no tampons, no menstrual underwear, and definitely no period tracking apps. In some ancient societies, girls and women used folded pieces of cloth or other absorbent materials available to them. But that didn't make things easy. You could have cramps, feel tired, have headaches, or simply feel uncomfortable. And then there was the awkward question. What if it started while you were outside? There was no pharmacy, no convenient restroom, and no easy way to quickly change what you were using. But depending on the culture, the biggest problem could be what happened next. In some societies, menstruation came with specific rules. A girl might be expected to stay in a particular area, avoid certain parts of the household, stay away from religious spaces, or temporarily avoid certain activities. And in some traditions, she might even sleep separately from other members of the household. Imagine being a teenager, already confused by everything happening to your body, and then being told, you can't sleep here tonight. You have to stay over there. To a modern teenager, that could sound incredibly strange. But these rules were often connected to the beliefs of the society, ideas about purity, religion, or traditional views about menstruation. And here's the important part. This wasn't the same everywhere. Ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and countless other societies had different customs. So we can't say every ancient girl experienced the same thing. But for many girls, puberty could still mark a major change. Because suddenly, adults might stop treating you like a little child. Your family could become more protective. Your freedom could become more restricted. And you might be expected to spend more time at home. Not necessarily because you had done anything wrong, but because society was beginning to see you differently. You were growing up. And then came the question. That could change your entire future. Marriage. Imagine you're a teenager. And instead of someone asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? Your family might be discussing who you could marry. In some ancient societies, girls could marry at surprisingly young ages. Although the age varied enormously depending on the culture, the time period, and the family's circumstances. Marriage could involve family alliances, social status, property, or expectations about having children. So while a modern teenager might be worrying about a crush, an awkward haircut, or what to wear tomorrow, an ancient teenage girl could be facing something much bigger. Her family might already be thinking about who she would marry, where she would live, and what responsibilities she would have. And suddenly, being a teenager didn't feel like childhood anymore. It felt like preparation for adulthood. But wait, if you're enjoying these trips into the ancient world, don't just watch this one. Hit subscribe, because there's an entire ancient world of stories that you probably never learned in school. And trust me, the next one gets even stranger. Now imagine going back to that teenage girl. She has just entered puberty. She's learning how to deal with her period. She's discovering that some of her freedom is changing. And adults are beginning to think about her future. Not every ancient girl experienced this. And ancient cultures were incredibly different. But in many societies, growing up could happen much faster than it does for teenagers today. And that's what makes her story so fascinating. For us, being a teenager is often about figuring out who you are, what you like, who you want to become, and what you want to do with your life. For many girls in the ancient world, those questions could be replaced by something very different. Who will I marry? Where will I live? What will my family expect from me? So maybe the strangest thing about being a teenage girl in the ancient world wasn't simply having no modern period products, or having different rules during menstruation. It was that while you were still trying to figure yourself out. The adults around you could already be planning your future. For us, being a teenager means figuring out your future. For many girls in the ancient world, their future was already being figured out for them.